Hi everyone, today we're working on a 1983 Mercedes. It's a 380 SL model. The customer's complaint when he shifts from park to drive, there's a clunk or a popping, creaking type of sound. And I'll show you what I found out. There's some bushings up here. They're called subframe bushings. And that's the new bushing installed on this side. And that's the new bushing installed on the rear. So there's one on the front and rear of the subframe. And what happens is this rubber bushing wears out, and this little collar here, rubber collar, wears out, and then this hits the metal on metal contact on the bottom of the framework. And that obviously makes your clunking sound. So that side was pretty bad. You can see there was some rubbing, and there was a little bit distortion in that one. And I'll show you this other side. Here's a little collar, the sleeve that goes up on top of here. So what I've done on this side is I removed the bushings, and one thing noteworthy, there's a little tab here. That little tab faces out. So what I've done is I removed the subframe bolts. There's one in the front and one in the rear, and then I removed the two nuts off the bottom of the shock absorber in the control arm, and then I disconnected the rubber brake hose from the metal line so I could have room to move everything down. And then I put a few blocks of wood in here to keep me some space between the control arm and the chassis body of the car. And there's the new bushing, partially installed. I use a little bit of white grease on there. And all I have to do is rock the bushing down in that housing. It's just a push-in fit by hand. And then same one there, it's a push-in fit by hand. And then when I get that done, I'll take a screw jack and screw it back up and then put the bolts back in. And the two bolts that hold it are these two bolts here. I'm using the original bolts because it has this little point. It's easier to get started. And I got a new sleeve and a new bushing here. So if you run into that job, you just have to be careful. You don't want to put too much stress on anything because you're putting tension on the motor mounts, everything on top of the engine. I remove the air cleaner assembly and make sure it's not going to stretch the radiator hoses and things like that too much. So that's how you do that job. Thank you very much. Have a great day.